Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Boston Red Sox. In our alternate universe where the Negro League's color barrier never existed and people were able to do as they pleased. We have just won a world championship. I don't know why it doesn't say two here, because we have won two. Or have we won two? I feel pretty strongly that we did. Well, it isn't recording this season yet. Yes, we did win in 1922, our first season, and then we did so this year as well. Or have I lost my mind? Maybe I've lost my mind. It's entirely possible that I've in fact lost my mind, and I have. We did not win the World Series this year. It's fine. It was an interesting season last year. As we're seeing a lot of our more powerful players aging, and we're going to need to come up with a way to deal with that. However, we've added a new megastar in Willie Bobo, and if he can continue to be a valuable player, we're going to see great things from him. And he's just going to make us that much more dangerous because our offense was the big issue last year. We also need at least one more starting pitcher potentially. We could use a better reliever. There's definitely some places we can upgrade. Our bullpen was a serious weakness last year. That's something I think we're going to have to upgrade if we're going to be competitive this season. So let us begin, as all good things must, by taking stock of the overall roster. We have really four starters that we can trust to be an important part of our success: Streeter, Foster, Lucas, and Hoyt. That's the good part. They're all very talented starting pitchers, and I think we're in a pretty good state as long as they are our options. That's the good part. We also have Ike Powers, who is almost certainly going to be called up to help supplement our bullpen, which is actually pretty crappy last year. This is equally good news. But once you get into position players, we're starting to notice a bit of age in our lineup. We're relying pretty heavily on Dewey Creasy, which is fine. He had a pretty good year, and hopefully we'll have an even better one this year. But Branch Russell's already 30, which means he's not going to be an elite player for very long. Roger Peckinpah really helps stabilize shortstop. He's not a great shortstop, but I think he's a pretty good one, and he's definitely worthy of keeping along. And then we have relatively old outfielders. We definitely need some youth on this team if we're going to continue to be a successful franchise. That, I believe, is a given. Yeah. Let's make it happen. Now, the one benefit is we actually have a better draft pick than we've had in a very long time. It's not a great draft pick. And the draft pool still remains awfully shallow. There are two superstars, future Hall of Famers, and one Mel Ott is the only person who's actually a Hall of Famer, plus Rick Farrell. Potentially could be one. But you're already very quickly noticing this is another season where we just don't have the option. Like, we just don't have it. There's no chance in hell that, say, Mel Ott will fall to us at the end of the draft. He just won't. Um, this is the price we lead in. And thankfully, we do have the option to acquire people from the Negro Leagues, which gives us at least a little bit more flexibility, even if perhaps not as much as we would care for. Do you have any coaches we need to hire? We do need to hire some new coaches. We need a bench coach, first base coach, third base coach. Our bench coach needs to be somebody with a really good relationship that can teach really, really effectively. Now, Josh Valenzuela is an older player, but I think he'd be a very fine choice to be our bench coach. Let's go ahead and make that happen. Let's offer him a deal. Frank Nesser. He isn't the best, but what he is extremely young, and I think that makes him pretty valuable. Plus, he's also a very, very talented teacher. So let's go and offer him a job as our first base coach. And lastly, we need a new third base coach. What about George Winter? How do you get along with the team? Pretty much all of my hitters don't care about you, which doesn't fill me with joy. Jason Egan seems like a better choice. So we'll go out and offer Jason Egan our third base coach job done. And let's advance some time and see what happens. Um, what? I will offer you 5 grand. That's a reasonable sum to offer you. You're not getting a better offer. I refuse to accept that. I think you just don't want to be a bench coach. I will offer you $7,500, and if you don't take that, then you can get fucked. Because I'm not gonna overpay you when really 1,500. I was like, I don't have the money. Um, okay, we've definitely got some people willing to sign on, which is gonna be great. There goes Nesser, and it's just a question of whether Egan signs, but I think it's fairly likely that he will. Maybe. Let's sim to the end of the award season. There goes Egan. Silver Slugger for Red Lucas is pretty funny, and Willie Boba, which is a little bit more understandable. Branch Russell got Rookie of the Year, which is pretty exciting stuff. Aha! Get fucked, Cleveland. You had 2 Rookie of the Year candidates, neither one of them won. Willie Boba won MVP, which is pretty funny for a guy that didn't actually play the full season. Oh no, I guess he did. Shows what I know. It was unanimous too. They all voted for him for first place. Nice. Fuck you, Babe Ruth. Get fucked, nerd. Yeah, Steel Arm Tyler was our attempt to bring in a new starting pitcher, and that's exactly what we've gotten here. So I'm pretty happy about getting that additional piece of depth should something else happen to us this season. I'll vote for Babe Adams. Doc Crandall, not so much. I'll vote for Markart, I guess. I guess I'll vote for Fred Clark. I'll be honest with you, this is a pretty shitty Hall of Fame class, all things considered. I can't do anything about it, but it's not. Oh, I definitely want to vote for Frank Baker too. I'm gonna submit the offer, but I don't think it's that impressive. And yeah, this is definitely a weak draft class, as has become tradition. Maybe it's not so bad. There was a couple of other players there that at least looked like they're pretty decent, but that's because that's what OSA is telling me. If I believe my scouting director, it's a far less developed market. So we're basically forced to acquire depth pieces, which is frustrating, but not totally shocking. What do we want? What is the one position we really need some help at? I think I could make a case for shortstop. A good shortstop would actually be a very nice thing to have in the system. Um, I could use a young outfielder. A young first baseman. So get Sammy Bird. Sammy Bird, I gotta be honest with you, is actually a pretty damn good player potentially. He's certainly not flawless, but he offers a surprising amount of upside. Babe Ruth's legs, that's funny. Yeah, I think he actually played for the Yankees toward the end of Ruth's career. Um, we're gonna think about Mr. Bird here. Because if you haven't heard, the bird is the word. Bobby Reese isn't a very good shortstop. Jack Rothrock isn't either, but has the advantage of being a really good infielder, period, which is still pretty valuable. I think we're gonna take Rothrock. I need a good young infielder, and I think he's the right call for that. We're gonna meet his demand and then go to the next draft. If Sammy Bird had made it to me in the second round, I would have taken him. Alas, we're not that lucky. Kiddo Davis. Davis offers a decent bat off the bench, but he's not athletic enough to really suit my needs. Clay Hopper is definitely a better athlete, but he is going to struggle in our ballpark because he needs to hit home runs to really have his maximum value, and this is not a park where he's going to be able to do that. But he's a possibility at least. Bill Sweeney's not very good. Fred Burkle's a decent all-around player. Earl Clark isn't bad. I'm seeing a lot of players that I'll just basically fall into the category of meh. I do need a young outfielder though. I do need one. Um, and I think Hopper has a little bit more future on him because Kiddo Davis, his I guess Kiddo Davis is a decent hitter, but he's not a very good outfielder. I'm gonna pick Clay Hopper. I might regret this, and if I can get Kiddo Davis too, I will. I knew that wasn't gonna happen though. Paul Richards is fine. Paul Richards is a nice little shot in the dark. If he can develop anything a little bit more than he has, I think he'll be a nice little pickup for us. John Dempster is a decent hitting pitcher, and in our park, he won't suffer as much as he would in other parks. I wouldn't mind having an opening day ready starting pitcher. We're gonna try that and see how that works. I'm gonna go and take Fred Brickle. I think he offers a very athletic outfielder, and I think he'll be a nice little addition. You say impossible. I have a lot of money. I'm just gonna leave that out there. Frank Kern isn't terribly interesting. Bradshaw's not terribly interesting. George Farrell's interesting, I guess. He's got some decent power on him. I do like Heine Schuble. I think he's a pretty solid choice, and I think we'll draft him. And then I think I'll take Jack Smith. Jack Smith could be a reasonably decent first baseman if I need one. I will go after Thad Campbell with sight unseen, and we'll also take Dudley Boner. I mean Dudley Bonner. That seems good. And I think we're just going to go ahead and end the draft at this point. There's not really a whole lot else we need to get excited about. Well, it's over $3,800. How about $5,000? How about $6,000? I got fucking money, dude. I can outbid anybody. I am the Senate. And then we're gonna go up to the Rule 5. If we could, I would love to try to snag a decent player in the Rule 5 draft. I just don't think any are going to be available, but I could be wrong. I mean, I could definitely use an upgraded bullpen. And I think Moe's Herring seems like a really great choice. Let's go ahead and grab this dude. Um, I like beating McGowan. I think Mr. McGowan here is a pretty solid all-around outfielder, and I'd like to have them on my team. I don't want Dusty Mails or Carl Mays. But I wouldn't mind ball player Houston as a way to upgrade our bullpen. I think that's actually a pretty smart idea. Let's grab him too. All right. Wait, the California Angels aren't. Why did I just see the Angels logo? What? Oh. It's the Negro League team. That must have been where he was playing. Okay. I was about to fucking say, like, what the hell? But no, that's a fair point. I'm recording this on the day of the Super Bowl, so I hope your team wins if you have a particular horse in this fight. Um, I like seeing new teams win the Super Bowl, and it's been a long time since the 49ers have won, so I think I'm leaning in that direction, but I won't be upset if the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, I guess. I like Andy Reid a lot. He's a really good guy. I like Patrick Mahomes because he's a really special player. Even if my team is not in the even if my team is not in the World Series, that's fine. Um, I think we're a deeper team with our draft picks and our new players, but I don't think we're a better team. You're increasing my draft budget. I don't know why giving that to me now, but that's cool. And I think we're maxed out here, which is fine. Oh, yes. I want Josh Alzala teaching catching, Nesser teaching infield, and he can teach base running, and that's fine. That's a good mixture of roles. It does make Jason Egan a little bit superfluous, but I don't really care. So we're just gonna ignore that and live our lives the way that we should. Are there free agents that are tantalizing? Are there dudes who are like, fuck, not really. Like signing Jack Bentley just to put him on my reserve roster feels like a bit of a power move. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I am saying I don't think it's smart. I don't think it helps us enough. Hmm. Let's do a quick scan of the Negro Leagues, and then we can adjust. Nothing of interest. Nothing of interest. Nothing of interest. It's almost like they've been systematically stripped of all their talent. Um, I think Anderson Pryor is a good fit. Neither is Johnny Jones. I mean, Johnny Bob Dixon would be a pretty decent choice. There's a lot to like about that potentially. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but it's a possibility potentially. Havana, don't got nothing. Indianapolis has some decent players. Hallie Harding is a pretty good outfielder with some pretty good offensive tools. I think he's worth acquiring. Let's make that happen. Let's add him to the franchise. Wilson Reedus is a terrible second baseman, but as an outfielder, he's less bad. I just don't think he fits in with what I'm trying to do at the moment. He's a tremendous hitter. He'd be an offensive asset for sure. I just don't have a position for him right now. Kansas City. They've got some good pitching. I kind of want to run with what I've got for now, but if we start to slip a little bit, I'll know where to look. There we go. All right. Well, we acquired a couple of interesting players. That's for sure. And let's switch back to. I don't think I can buy it with Pacific Coast League. I think those are all affiliated teams. Like, I don't think I can buy this guy. Oh, I can. No, I can't. I'm in the wrong. Oh, no, I can buy him. I could buy Johnny Frederick if I had a mind. Interesting. Very interesting. Tony Lazzari would be a pretty amazing addition to this club. I gotta be real with you. That could be something special. Oh my gosh, if we look at the San Francisco Seals, is fucking Joe DiMaggio there? No, but Earl Averill is. And so is Paul Wainer. I'd love to get Paul Wainer. Let's go ahead and add him to our club. I didn't even think to check these guys before. Now I feel silly because there's been great talent I've missed out on. I mean, it's hard to pass up on Tony Lazzari. If I didn't already have a really good second base, no, our second baseman's 30 years old, isn't he? Jesus Christ, Mission. Oh, you are affiliated, and so I can't touch you. Yeah, there's the LA Angels. I can't have them either. I'd have to trade if I were going to do that. The Hollywood Stars. I could add Mr. Lazzari. I think it's too good a deal. I think it's much too good a deal not to add his talent level, so we're gonna go ahead and snag him. And then I don't think Double A is an independent league. I think these are all affiliated teams. Oh no, they're not affiliated. Okay. The good old Dallas Steers. Fort Worth Panthers are affiliated. Houston Buffaloes are affiliated. The Bears are not. Spencer Harris is not terrible, but I don't think he's for me. Shreveport's affiliated. Wichita Falls is, and Waco is too, I think. So let's go and switch back to MLB. I got some players to sort out now for the best of possible reasons. I'm gonna throw my financial weight around if I can, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So definitely making the team are Lazary and Wayner. Because then I can ship you to first base, and I can trade Ray Grimes, and I think that's a really smart idea. Or I can at least just step. Oh, Ray Grimes can't even get on base anymore. Yeah, he needs to go. I don't think I'm gonna get anything for him, but I can just send him to the reserve roster and not worry too much. I will take ball player Kendrick though happily. I know, guys. Ray Grimes is a really cool dude, but like we need the best team we can get our hands on, and that means Willie Bobo. So we have Wayner, Flagstead, and Manouche. Probably Wayner playing right field, all things considered. Manouche left. I'm gonna call up Ike Powers, and I think Steel Arm Tyler, and that's gonna be our spring training roster at least. Yeah, Sam Streeter just went in the toilet, so I guess it's a good thing that I had Steel Arm Tyler. It is so bizarre to me, and I think it's just because of the way these players work that they just like disintegrate overnight. But it's what happens, I guess. Red Lucas is a little bit worse, but better overall. Wade Hoyt is getting better. It's exciting stuff. Tex Carlton's getting better, but losing his potential a bit. Heine Minutia's getting better. Ira Flagstead is slightly worse. Peckinpah losing defense is concerning, and he's the oldest remaining player that I don't have ready replacement for. So that's something we're gonna have to think about as the season progresses. We're gonna go ahead and go through training though, and we're gonna go ahead and let my bench coach set it up however he'd like. I hate the idea of Roger Peckinpah hitting second. This just seems like the dumbest fucking thing in baseball history, but it's fine for now, I guess. And go and select your pitching staff the way you'd like. I wish you'd quit putting Red Lucas in the bullpen, even though he'd be great at it. But I'm not opposed to it, at least to see how things work out in spring training. But I don't love it. as a long-term decision for this club. And Branch Russell's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks. It's a good thing I don't have much invested in him. It does seem like the Negro Leaguers, I don't know if this is coded into the game or what, don't have a lot of staying power. Like, it's rare for them to have long careers. I don't know whether this is because the game is programmed to do that to them, or is it just something else that I'm missing. But either way, it is a thing to pay attention to for sure. Uh, new diet, new Horace Long, eh? Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. If you want to learn how to baseball better, I'm not going to stop you. I would, in fact, encourage you because you never know when you might be called upon to deliver us from the doldrums of whatever bullshit we're dealing with. Okay, let's get down to 25 players. Post haste. Joe Bush, you gotta go. Pohea, you gotta go. Thomas and Webb can both walk. Gives you 10 pitchers, which seems really reasonable. Now, I like Sam Streeter a lot, but I'm wondering if he might not be the better choice in the bullpen. If I make Sam Streeter a reliever, what does he look like? He looks really good. I'm gonna make him my reliever. You're gonna be my new stopper. Because I'd rather have Red Lucas in the rotation where he can do the most good. That feels good. I can live with this rotation instantly. I'm gonna move up Bill Foster and put Red Lucas last, but this feels like a pretty strong rotation. Even with Sam Streeter as our new reliever. But we'll see how this works out for us. If this ends up biting us in the butt or what have you. I've got to get rid of 2 position players. I'm not carrying 3 catchers, so goodbye ball player Coffin. And then Ed Poles, if we do a quick, actually, let's check this out. I need fielding potential. I need position ratings. I can't set Ed Poles down. Ed Poles is very much my only other reasonable shortstop besides Peckinpah. Um, I'm gonna trade George Scales. I'm gonna hope that somebody's gonna look at him and decide, wow, that's a really good player. Let me get a piece of that. Because I think he's outlived his usefulness. I don't really think he's got too much value to us as a team going forward. A. Jones is fine, I suppose. It's not a terribly exciting player, but it's fine. It's Fred Merkel of Merkel's Boner. Um, I mean, not Zach Wheat. It's not about the money. It's I don't think he's a good fit for the roster. We could get Jones though, and we could have him on the reserve roster just because another outfield option. I think that's an attractive offer. Because George Scales just doesn't have anything to offer us anymore. That's a long and short of it. He has nothing to offer us at this point. This should then get down to 25, right? It does. Let us murder the lineups and set up our own the way we want it. Alright, we want the battingest ratings it ever ratings. Like how Willie Bobo is already started getting worse. Like, there's seriously something in the fucking water. That the instant. I mean, I guess if I scattered him again, we see something different. feel like Bobo is our leadoff guy. Let's make him the leadoff dude. That's fine. Um, and then I want Paul Wainer batting second. Heine Manouche batting third. Tony Lazzari cleaning up. Chuck Dressen is both better offensively and defensively than Dewey Creasy. So I think we do Sheng and Dressen in that order. Then Ira Flagstead, and then Roger Peckinpah. And give me a depth chart, please. I like this a lot. I'm not going to overthink this one. We're just going to let this one ride and call this our opening day staff. We're not as deep offensively as we'd like. I feel like we're very, very top heavy once again. But having a guy like Chuck Dressen batting sixth really helps in a lot of ways. It really, truly helps us in a lot of ways. Um, and we're gonna see what happens. Um, hopefully, real life Hall of Famers like Paul Wainer are gonna have a little bit more staying power than like Willie Bobo, who's already lost a decent bit of. He's still a great player, and I'm so glad we have him. But he's no longer as good as he was last year. Like I don't think he's gonna get an MVP again. Maybe he will. I don't know. But let's see what happens here. I think Lazary could be low key a Hall of Fame caliber player for us, given the opportunity. Let us baseball, gentlemen, and let us see if we can return to the promised land. Tex Carlton is the number 9 overall prospect. The Yankees got Mel Ott. Oh wow, Babe Ruth's getting old, eh? Let me replace him with slightly worse Babe Ruth. Lame. Wait, you're what? Why is Joe Cronin? Okay, you do have him catching. Okay. Oh, they tried to set as a pitcher, and I was yeah, it does say pitcher. You're like, what the fuck? Why would you ever let Joe Cronin pitch? Was he a catcher in real life? I thought he was a second baseman in real life. Maybe I'm wrong. No, he was a shortstop in real life. I don't know why. He looks like he would suck pretty hard. Good old Woody English. Alright, friends, let us unleash the awesome power of our fully operational lineup. Well, I don't know if it's fully operational yet. We'll have to see. When Roger Peckinpah is leading the team in WAR, that's not a great sign. Oh, Thad Campbell's getting better. Lazary's getting better. Manouche's getting better. That's delightful. Steel Arm Tyler, best pitcher in the league, obviously. So I gotta ask, why is Philadelphia so good this year? Like, what's changed about them? I would like to know, please. Which is in a tiny bit of stuff, but Foster is getting better. Toriente is getting better. Joe Strip is getting better. All right. So let's look at how we're doing. Where are we strong and where are we not so strong? We are a fantastic pitching team. Like, we have great pitchers top to bottom. The Sam Streeter experiment has worked. He's clearly pretty one of the best relievers in the major leagues. Um, our rotation has been really solid. I mean, I guess if there was a problem on the team, it's probably Tony Lazzari. Or yeah, but I mean, it's not going to take much for him to get better. And he is a pretty decent second baseman, which helps us out quite a bit. Um, Paul Wayner's doing his job. He's getting on base at a pretty crazy clip. He should be even better, but I'll take it. I'll absolutely take a player of that caliber for sure. Um, Chucky D looks pretty solid. I wonder if the issue isn't that we're playing poorly, but that Philadelphia is playing really well. What does their team look like? They're number one in runs scored, which is a good start for them. I mean, this is a genuinely good lineup, even with an AJ Max Carey anchoring in center field. Hack Wilson and Charlie Gehringer make for a pretty damn good pair of really talented players. It's hard for me to figure out why they're scoring more than we are, but they do have a better lineup. It's true. Um, some of them are like Johnny Mo still wasn't that great in real life, but certainly in our thing here, he's pretty amazing. So we'll have to monitor that and see how he turns out. But I don't think they're unbeatable. Oh, they're on a 5-man rotation. Are we the only team that's on a 4-man rotation still? Interesting. We are the only team still using a 4-man rotation. I'm fine with that though. I guess it could be why our starting pitchers are getting worn out. Maybe I do need to start adding a fifth starting pitcher. Maybe that is a thing that I should be doing. Um, I don't have anybody that's ready though to be a starting pitcher at the moment. But I guess I could put Dick McKay back in the rotation, make him our fifth starter. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go to a 5-man rotation. Let's add Dick McCabe in as our fifth starter. Yeah, that feels good, and that could be honestly, and I'm surprised I haven't noticed it before, why so many of my starting pitchers keep flashing out. Like there are a lot of them tend to be flashes in the pan, and that may be why. Because they're just pitching too much. Anyways, um, let us just simulate right into July. Um, because I don't think we lack talent. I think we're maybe struggling a little bit in execution. I don't even know what position I'd want to upgrade at besides potentially shortstop. Um, Lefty Thomas kind of sucks. Okay. I don't see an obvious place to upgrade. I truly don't. Ira Flagstead maybe. Like if we could get an all-around excellent center fielder, I think that would be a lovely addition to this team. Let's check the trade block, but I'm not expecting anything at all. All hitters, please. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think this makes any sense to me. None of you are all that good. Um, so let's do the Negro Leagues, and let's go through their teams. See if we can't snag either a center fielder or a shortstop would be lovely. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Anderson Pryor is a terrible defender at many positions. I don't think that makes him more useful. I think it probably makes him less useful. Potentially, we could add him in as a fifth starter if we needed one. Cando Lopez isn't bad, but I don't trust his future development, and I think he'll struggle in the major leagues. I truly believe that. Wilson Reedus is not a center fielder. Mm. Could have Roosevelt Davis as our fifth starter and just make it ridiculous, but I think we're fine for now. Let's check on the independent league. Johnny Frederick's only a corner outfielder. Bells, the Oaks, the Oakland Oaks, good old Oakland Oaks. Nothing there. The Beeves. There is George Quellich. I don't hate the idea of acquiring him just as one more outfielder, even though I'm not that convinced he's going to be a good player. But he might be. I think he at least offers us very valuable depth, and I will purchase him for $3,900. The Senators have Earl McNeely, who's not a very good center fielder. The Seals do have Dolph Camilli, but I don't need a first baseman at the moment. I don't want Lloyd Wayner. Oral Averill can't play center. Wayner's just not a good enough center fielder. And I don't want to have both of them on the same team. That seems excessive. Remember, this is a Pete Rose. It's not the Pete Rose. He is a very good defensive center fielder, though. So I will take a Pete Rose in the event that we do need another center fielder. Done. And I think all the Double A teams are affiliated with the Major League teams, so I'm not gonna check those out. Boston. I'm gonna send down Jones and call up Quelich. Let's do a real quick reset here. We want to play Toriente. That oh god, Wally Shang can't catch anymore. Yeah, Cristobal Toriente, congratulations, you're our new starting catcher. And then we're gonna move up Chuck Dressen to there. We're gonna copy and paste this over. I guess I could try trading Wally Shang and try to get something of value from him, but I don't think we're likely to be very lucky, but we can try it. Somebody might be desperate for like a veteran catcher, and to the point where they ignored the fact he can't catch anymore. Apparently not though. That's reasonable. I can't be too annoyed by that. Okay. I definitely want to keep Mr. Barry. I think he's been a very fun scouting director for us. He's helped us find really great players in the Negro League, so we can keep him around. Hugo Medina's gone. Um, he's not that great a hitting coach. I think we can do better. I think we can do a lot better. So, Mr. Medina, thank you for your service, but you shall be elsewhere next season. Elsewhere. Manouche gets 5 hits, 3 of which are doubles. That's glorious. I love it. We have three pitchers who made it: Sam Streeter plus Red Lucas and Wade Hoyt. Chuck Dressen starting at third base. Heine Manouche starting in left field. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm reasonably chuffed about our all of our great players making the All-Star team. We have 4 or 5 All-Stars. That's pretty good. We could use a new catcher. That's something else to think about, actually. Are there good catchers to be had? Are there catchers to be had? There's Heavy Johnson. We could bring him back, which would be funny, but not necessarily a great idea. Hmm, not really a catcher of interest to me. There's just a bunch of players on the trade block that just aren't interesting. Is the problem. I could probably turn Dewey Creasy into a player of some description. Like somebody's got to be eager to get their hands on a quality third baseman. Reb Russell isn't that interesting. Mm-hmm. Pitching isn't my weakness. We're actually pretty well set up in pitching wise. I mean, Dick McCabe is struggling, so I guess if his starter isn't a terrible idea. Mr. McCabe here is just not striking anybody out. So I suppose the right starting pitcher does make some sense. Add a second player. Um, let's look only at starting pitchers and see who might be available. I like James Harris actually. James Harris seems like a great choice. I'm not gonna overthink this. Give me James Harris immediately, if not sooner. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call up Joe Strip. What happened? Oh, because you instantly replaced him with Harris, right? That makes sense. Um, I'm gonna keep Dick McCabe. I think I'm gonna put Lefty Wolf on the roster, and then I'm gonna call up Joe Strip to help back up at third base. Give me depth charts, please. And then pitching wise, James Harris takes over there, and you become my new emergency starter and long reliever. That feels good. Let's do that. I could also just slide Sam Shooter back into the rotation, but I think for right now we're probably fine. Probably. Like what we definitely need is we need a good young center fielder or a good young shortstop, and those players are just not available to us. And I'm not going to take a mediocre reliever when Tex Carlton could end up being a really good starting pitcher. You just need some time. So no, thank you. A shutout for Harris is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Is there anybody we'd want to acquire? I don't think so. Like we could upgrade the bullpen. There's definitely some value in adding like a Jack Scott potentially. I just don't know how much of a difference it would make. Like, I don't think the bullpen is our issue. And the kinds of players that I do want are young players, and the young players are just not available right now. They just aren't. Muddy Ruel wouldn't be a bad catcher to add. I'd feel a little bit better about our catching if we had him. It'd depend on what it would cost me, but that's so far the one player that I think I could see us adding to stabilize catcher, but maybe let Toriente still be the primary catcher. I'm gonna reject both of these trades and call you silly buggers for offering them. What is it could take me to get muddy with it? A pretty damn good player. I don't like that. What do I have in the way of prospects that I'm ambivalent about? Mm. Like I could offer you Hallie Harding, but that's not really gonna move your the needle for you. Oh, I guess you want Earl Webb. You can have him. That's fine. So this gives us. I'm gonna go ahead and put Wally Shang on the. No, we're gonna keep Wally Shang as a bat off the bench. But it's not gonna let him catch anymore. Instead, we're gonna send Dick Jackson, I think, to the reserve roster, and then use Muddy Ruel as our backup catcher. You'll probably want to start him like every day, which isn't my preference, but we will see what happens here. Yeah, I don't want him playing every other day. I like him being a defensive catcher upgrade though, for sure. Like once a week, defense is up. That is his current role on this team, and I will reevaluate as the season progresses what I think might be a better choice. Because Toriente is a better hitter. I need this. I need this bat in the lineup. Um, yeah, that's what I need. So that's an important upgrade. I feel better about our chances just having a veteran catcher for sure. Is there anybody else that I would want to trade for or get rid of? I could check free agency one last time. But there's not really anything interesting here. Meh. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. Finish today, please. I don't care what other dipshit trading proposals you had for me. It's probably we want one of your best prospects for nothing. McClark, how's our team chemistry? It's pretty damn good. We don't have a captain though, so we might want to think about getting a captain at some stage. We have a bunch of leaders though. Um, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish today. Yeah, Wally Shang is decaying rapidly. Red Lucas got a tiny bit worse, which I don't love. Wade Hoyt got a tiny bit better. Tony Lauzeri's a tiny bit worse. It's fine. We're just gonna plow on through. We've got to start knocking out wins in a row. That's what we need. We need to start getting like 5 or 6 wins in a row and try to build a little bit of distance between us and the second place teams. I don't really want this to go down to the wire, truth be told. I really don't want that. Because I think it's going to make it extremely challenging for us to be. Like, we don't have a clear way to improve from within. Al Lopez is one of those ways, potentially. I could definitely see Al Lopez taking over as a catcher someday, maybe. We could get Dolph Camilli and replace Willy Bobo, but I think Willy Bobo is doing fine. But I do think we have to acknowledge the fact. You know what? Fuck it. If Dolph Camilli has not been grabbed by somebody else, I'm gonna grab him. He's in AAA. He was playing for Portland, I think. Not Portland. The Seals. Yes. Yeah, hook me up, yo. Get some Dolph Camilli in my life. Dolph Camilli's eligible for the postseason roster. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and let him play on the reserve roster for the rest of the season, and then we will adjust. Because I'm pretty sure I cannot add him to the postseason roster. I guess I'll put him on the team though. That is the thing that I can do. And in fact, because I still want to make the playoffs, I think I will go ahead and just instantly slide in Dolph Camilli as our leadoff hitting first baseman. Because it is everything that Bobo does, but does it better. And I think that makes him a very, very useful piece to our puzzle here. And then Bobo can be used in a more situational setting. That feels pretty strong. Let's advance to the end of the season. Because if we can get a huge injection of offensive talent, that'll get us to the postseason, and that's what we need to do right now. Because there's only one spot in each league, um, and that World Series championship brings starting to feel awfully lonely. I think it needs a friend. It is still really fucking close. Is the problem? Like we are sitting on the cusp of horrible things happening, but also very good things happening. And I don't know what the answer to that question is. Oh, we actually already clinched the postseason. Delightful. So we're gonna sim to be in the playoffs, and then we're facing Brooklyn. That's Boston versus Brooklyn, eh? All right. Playoff roster. I cannot keep Dolph Camilli, alas. So Mr. Bobo is gonna go ahead and play first base. Um, during the postseason. That's fine, and we'll see what happens, yo. Oof, 14 innings. Damn, that feels better. Bill Foster getting it done. How did Steel Arm fare in his first postseason start? He was amazing. He was great. Good job, Steely, as you like to be called. This is pretty shitty timing to lose Roger Peckinpah, but we will overcome. It's gonna be up to Steel Arm, and he locked it down. Booyah! World Series MVP, the man that we replaced, Willie Bobo, rejuvenated, was clutch as fuck. Another World Series crown, you guys, for the Boston Red Sox. What a delight. I did not know that. Interesting. I think actually maybe I did know that. All right. What a season. We will break it down, obviously, and then we will end the episode. It should be good. Sorting minor database. I think we're starting to expand the minor leagues, which is going to be very beneficial. So let's talk about how we got here. Um, Season goals. You are delighted, as you should be. Let us go ahead and check out how the season went. Who were our key competitors this year? Heine Manouche was our best position player, which is really good because last year he struggled badly. I think getting him out of center field was absolutely crucial to him being a more confident and capable player. He's improved significantly on a defensive standpoint, and I think that makes us a better team. Paul Wainer was an excellent addition to this franchise. Truly special. He got on base at a ridiculous clip. He's the athlete we've needed. Loved Paul Wainer. Mr. Lazary was an excellent addition to the club, albeit he did lose a little bit, which is fine. The PCL has always been a hitter's league. And he went into a ballpark that's probably very good for him, and so it's not so good. But he played a pretty solid second base and also managed to hit fairly effectively. I think we call that a win. I mean, Roger Peckinpah finding the fountain of youth and being a competent hitter is not something I anticipated. Um, he was also a good defender too, but no, this is about his bat. This is probably the single most inexplicable thing that happened this year, and I'm definitely here for it. Is Roger Peckinpah hitting 300 for the second time in his career, and also having an on-base percentage over 400, which is really, really good. Ira Flagstead, as much as I still think we need a new center fielder, he gets the job done. He's a really good defender, and he's a very strong hitter, and that's good. He's a good baseballer. Where's Cristobal? You did it again, didn't you, game? Stop making him a freaking pitcher. I don't understand it. He's only ever going to be a catcher. Now I can actually evaluate that. Thank you, game. Um, Willie Bobo was not an MVP again. And I don't think he's got a ton of upside any longer. But we got an MVP season out of him, and he was, by the way, a World Series MVP. So we can't be too harsh on the man. Because his power basically evaporated. That's what happened. Um, Still a good player, just not a great one. And I think he's already been lapped by Dolph Camilli, who will be our opening day first baseman next year. Chuck Dressen has had a very interesting career that's been very up and down, where he can't really keep a hold of the third base job. This year, he had it for pretty much the whole year, and he ran with it and had a great season. He had absolutely no home runs though, which is not great. But I like the rest of the package to the point where I'm happy to keep him at third base for now. We had three catchers adding up to basically being a 5-win player. But let's only say that Cristobal Toriente got 2 WAR. I think he's a keeper as a catcher. I do think he is a keeper as a catcher. Whether he might be better off with super utility guy again, I don't know. But he really got the job done when we needed him to. But so did Muddy and so did Wally Shang. I would be surprised if Wally Shang retires soon, but he's not playing for us on the Major League roster anytime soon. The rest of the bench wasn't that effective. If there was a weakness in this roster, we didn't get a lot out of our bench. Our bench didn't play very much either. Like, I think they combined for something like 300 at bats, which is obviously not very many. Ed Poles was fine. We need a young shortstop. That's critical to our success. Pitching for the first time in a long time, none of our pitchers were like insanely awesome. They were just really good. And I think part of that is because we have given them fewer innings to deal with. And I think that gave us a better team, even if I think 300 innings is a bit ridiculous. Wade Hoyt has clearly proven he's got a rubber arm and can handle it. He just doesn't walk people. And so his lack of strikeouts don't hurt that much. A steel arm Tyler was an excellent pitcher this year, although there is some concern about his ability to replicate it. I'm still not upset about it at all. Red Lucas just keeps pitching well. He just keeps pitching well. There will come a day in the next 5 to 10 years where his time will just evaporate because what he does is eventually going to bite us in the butt. He knows where to aim his fastballs, and he's got a couple of mediocre pitches to follow them up. If we played a different ballpark, I'd probably get rid of him, but for now, a guy with really good movement and really good control is still pretty valuable. Bill Foster is almost becoming disappointing. He's not there yet, but he hasn't built on his tremendous success in 1924. Or 1925, rather. Where he led the league in losses, was still an amazing pitcher because he couldn't stop walking people. This has to get better. If his control improves even a skosh, he's going to be a truly amazing pitcher. And for our first ever fifth starter, James Harris did a really good job. Really, really good job. I still think we need more, but I'm not opposed to it. Our bullpen was decent, but it wasn't. It's still not a real strength of the team. Sam Streeter had a pretty okay season, I guess, but he didn't really enter all that many save situations, and he still walks. This is weird to me. If his walks were what they should be, I think he is a perfectly fine reliever. We'll have to figure out what to do with him in the long run. But yeah, what we got was he got an outstanding lineup and a really solid starting pitching team that didn't have to blow out their arms, which I think is going to be a really valuable thing going forward. So, would have been nice to win one for Grimy. That's for sure. It would have been cool to see if Grimy could have managed it, but we've got some really talented young players, and Camille, Lazary, Manouche, and Wayner. Some nice complementary pieces. Yeah, we are a good team. We're a very good team. I do need more pitching. I think that's probably priority number one. Priority number two might be. Al Lopez just needs reps. Because we can improve his catching abilities. His offensive performance is going to make him a very valuable player. But we have time. What a strange, twisted journey we've been on with Cristobal Toriente, from borderline MVP candidate to afterthought to injured to afterthought to strong bench player. He's really had a remarkable career, and I'm very pleased that he's been a part of both World Series championships. I think he's not the only player who can say that, because Wally Shang can say it too. Um, yeah, Shang's got 2 rings. Who else has been here the whole time? I think Bill Foss. No, Bill Foster wasn't on that first team. Wade Hoyt was on both teams. Red Lucas was. Oh, Red Lucas was on both teams. I've forgotten about that. Yeah, he had been a like a reliever on that first team. McCabe only gets one ring. A lot of these guys have only been here for 1 year. Ball player Houston might have two. He's only got one. Wally Shang has two. Toriente's got two. Dressen might have two. Dressen has two. And I don't think Manouche has two. I think Manouche was on that team that won the first one as well. So there we go, gentlemen. Ladies, friends, pals of the channel of every size and description. We've got ourselves a pretty good team. Let's see if we can make it back to back. At this point in Major League history, if we look at league history, the only team that's won, no, I guess the Reds won 3 in a row. I didn't realize that. Lame. We have been to 3 World Series in a row that we just only won one of them. Wild stuff. I hope you all are enjoying the series. If you are, please remember to like and subscribe, comment down below. But until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.